Most gospel songs don't sound powerful, not because the singer can't sing, but because the mix is killing the spirit of the song. Hi, I'm Jaguar Mix. I take your songs from the street to superstar level. And in this video, I'm going to show you how I transformed this gospel track from sounding dull and lifeless into something wide, emotional, and impactful without over-processing the track. This is part 2 of our video series, Why Your Gospel Mix Sounds Weak. In part 1, we looked at the vocal mix processing plus effects. If you have not yet seen that video, there will be a link on the screen. Go watch that video, then come back to watch this video so that you will fully understand how the mix processing is going. So, this is how the drum sounded without me touching anything. No EQ, no compression, nothing. Just the raw drums. And this is how the drum sounded after mix processing. Now, let me walk you through exactly what I did to make the drums heavy, punchy, and exciting. Before we continue, make sure to hit the like button, share to your friends, hit the subscription button, and hit the notification bell icon so that you will be the first to be notified each time I upload amazing videos like this. If you want your gospel songs to sound professional, emotional, and ready for release, comment mix below and let's work on your next project. So let's see what I did to make the kick have more weight, more punch, and more clarity. So the first thing I did with the kick was to add the Neutron 5 transient designer. So for the low end, I have my sustain way down around minus 15. I have my attack up at about 2.8. I'm using the sharp bend. For our mid range, I'm using the medium bend. I'm using my sustain minus 5.8 and my attack up to about 4.5. And for my highs, I have my attack up to about 6.5, my sustain down. So let's listen to it with the bypass on and off and see exactly what it's doing. So if you were paying attention, you would have noticed that when the transient designer is turned on, it gives the kick more life, more punch, like the kick becomes exciting. And when the transient designer is turned off, the kick sounds dull and lifeless, it's just flat. So next, I'm adding an EQ. Yeah, I'm using the Pro Q3. As you can see, I'm taking out a lot of the sub around that 20 Hz at about now I'm taking out like 9 dB. This is to control the low end of the kick. I don't want the kick to be subby. I want the kick to be tight and punchy. As the video unfolds, you will understand why I did this. So I'm using another EQ, the same thing. So as you may have noticed, you can see I have 2 kicks, and you may be wondering, but Jaguar, why do you have 2 kicks? It's because the second kick is a parallel to the first kick, and this is how it sounds like. I hope you were listening on good studio monitors or headphones. If you were, you would have noticed that the second kick is subby. It has more low end. It is to support the first kick. You remember in the first kick, we cut our EQ. In the first kick, we subtracted our low end like 9 dB, right? Now, this is the reason. It's because the second kick is compensating the first kick. That low end is being replaced by the second kick. And this is what I did to achieve that. So the first thing I did was to add the Waves MV2, which is a fantastic plugin. I have my low level up to 34, my high level down to minus 34, and I'm adding a little bit of gain, minus 34. And this is to squash the kick. I am squashing the living crap out of this kick. Now the kick with a bypass plugin on and off. So the next thing I did, I added the PukeTech EQ, and I'm boosting everything around 20 hertz. My attenuation is around 2, and I'll play you the plugin bypass on and off so that you get to hear what this PukeTech EQ is actually doing. So the next plugin on the second kick chain is the EQ, where as you can see I'm taking everything above 40 hertz. I just want the subbiness of the kick. So if we combine the main kick plus the parallel, this is what we have. So now I'm just gonna play you the two kicks with the plugins. I'll be bypassing the plugin on and off so that you get to know what we just did to achieve this unique sound. Next, we have the main rim, of which I'm not doing anything on it because it sounded great just the way it is. So let's listen to what it sounds like plus the rim. Then next we have this drum loop, which is like this piano loop, and this is what it sounds like. So let's see what we did to the loop to make it sound this bright and exciting. So I am using Spectre, of which I'm boosting the high end to about almost 3 dB from 5 kilohertz. So I'm going to do the plugin bypass on and off so that we hear exactly how the changes affect the loop. So if we add the loop to the bounce, this is exactly what we have. Next drum is our soft snare, of which this soft snare is playing exactly what the log drum is playing. So it's playing alongside the log drum. And what we did with it was we added the PS22X split to give it more width, and this is what it sounds like. So next on my list will be the bongos and the congas. I didn't really do anything on them because they sounded great and they sounded natural. So I just wanted them to play like that, and this is how they sound like. So with everything, this is how they sound like. So with the crash and the claps, I'm just adding stereo imaging with the PS22 so that they should just go to the side, and this is what it sounds like. When I'm done with the fundamental mixing of my individual drums, I now send everything to my drum bus, of which this is where I do heavy processing. This is where the sound that I actually want comes from. It's from the drum bus. Now let me walk you through exactly what my drum bus looks like and how I actually process my drum bus. So the very first thing I do in my drum bus is to give my drums weight, and I achieve this by using the Waves arrow base. I just do my intensity to be minus 13 at my frequencies at 80 hertz. After the arrow base will be the Shadow Hills master compressor, and with this I'm using it just for glue. So as you can see, the needle is barely hitting -1. This is just to hold the drums together. The next plugin on my list will be the Black Box Analog Saturator. I have my saturation up at 30%, my pentodes up at 66%, my triodes up at 54%, and my air amount at 53%, and I'm taking out about 36% of output gain. This is to add saturation and grit to the drums. So with the heavy processing that these plugins usually do, it usually creates some sort of noise in the background. So this gate is to take out any noise that is spilling out of the drum bus. The next plugin I used was the Pro Q3. I discovered that with all of those processing, my low end was a little bit too much. So I reduced about 1 dB around the 33 hertz to like reduce some of those sobbiness. It was too much. The last but not the least, I use Spectre to this was just to make the drums exciting. It was to like make the drum sound present, more forward in your face kind of. So I added about 1 dB from that 4.95 kilohertz region, just to, like I said, just to give it that presence, that shine. So now I'm going to bypass these plugins in my drum bus. I'll do the bypass on and off so that you tend to understand what these plugins are doing to my drum bus. This is the end of the part 2. In the part 3, we'll be looking at how I mix the basses and the log drums. So stay tuned. Make sure to hit the like button, share to your friends, hit the subscription button, and hit the notification bell icon so that you'll be the first to be notified each time I upload amazing videos like this. If you want your gospel songs to sound professional, emotional, and ready for release, comment, mix, and let's work on your next project.